Welcome to Longevity Codes with your host, Fred Herbert. This podcast is about living a longer, healthier, and more active life. Each week, Fred shares strategies from experts about not only living longer, but helping us discover our personal longevity codes to live life to the fullest. This podcast is sponsored by RedoxLongevity.com, where we'll discover what experts are calling the most amazing breakthrough in our lifetime that affects health, anti-aging, and sports performance. Learn more at RedoxLongevity.com. That's www.RedoxLongevity.com. And now, here's our host, Fred Herbert.
Welcome to this first podcast of the Longevity Codes. In this podcast, you're going to learn the mission of what this podcast is all about. First, I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, but I'm just like you. We all want to live longer and a healthier life. Years ago, my wife and I backpacked to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. That's a grueling 10.5-mile hike that drops over a mile in elevation. We met a vibrant and energetic couple at the bottom and was shocked when we discovered that he was 86 and she was 84 years old, and they hiked to the bottom twice a year. Ever since then, they've been our role models, and we constantly remind ourselves that we want to be just like them when we get to that age, which isn't that far off. People have asked me, why am I doing a podcast and focusing more and more of my time on longevity? Well, there's really 3 reasons. First, I'm married to a health and wellness expert, and she's finally rubbed off on me. Being healthy is at the forefront of most of our conversations. Second, now that I'm in my mid-60s, health, wellness, anti-aging, and longevity have become more important than ever. This podcast is as much for me as it is for you. And third, what could be a better and more rewarding way to spend my time and energy than to help people learn strategies to live longer, healthier, and more active lives? Longevity, in my mind, is much more than just adding extra years to your life. That is part of it, but for me, and I'll bet for you, it's all about having more life and vitality into those extra years. We all want our last couple of decades to be mentally sharp and have the physical ability to enjoy life to the fullest. You, like me, have probably had relatives, neighbors, or friends who spent their final decade or two with diminished mental and physical capacity. That's not the kind of longevity that we're talking about in this podcast. The focus of Longevity Codes is on how to change our view of aging and what we are capable of doing. We must change our thinking about aging and not accepting the traditional view of all the things we can't do because we're getting older. Each week, I'll share the latest research, interviews with experts, and you'll hear stories of remarkable people who, by example, are redefining what's possible as we get older. Keep listening each week because you'll soon discover this podcast will be your go-to source for everything related to living a longer, healthier, and more active life. The name of this podcast is Longevity Codes because there are multiple strategies that we should apply to live a longer life. Abraham Lincoln said, quote, "And in the end, it's not the years of your life that count, it's the life in your years." I love that quote because it's so true. Longevity is more about quality than quantity. In the next podcast, you'll learn the core concepts for breaking the code. Listen next week and discover the first piece to find your longevity codes.
Thanks for listening to Longevity Codes. For more information, go to longevitycodes.com. To learn more about our sponsor, check out RedoxLongevity.com. Tune in to next week's podcast, where you'll learn more strategies on living a longer, healthier, and more active life.